funny photograph listening to the record.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, it was a combination of everything. And when I was a kid, I always wanted to go to a Kiss concert. I was never allowed to go to a Kiss concert. And then when Kiss took off the makeup, that was like the biggest kick in the balls I've ever received. I go, oh, you fuck, I'm fucked. I'm never going to see Kiss, like the Kiss that I knew, that I grew up with the makeup, the blood, the fire, the pyrotechnics. And they took off that makeup, and sure as shit, man, they just went right into a...
When did they take off the makeup?
It went right into the creek, into the 80s.
Was that Lick It Up?
It was right after Dynasty.
Unmasked.
Yeah, no, Unmasked was still Kiss. Ace Frehley wasn't on, and Anton Fig from David Letterman's band did a lot of the drum work on Unmasked. And then...
Did they release the 4 solo albums when the makeup came off?
No.
That was before then.
Yeah, the 4 solo albums were with makeup on. That's how you could tell. I remember because when I worked at the record store a couple of years later, we were still returning them.
It was
insane.
It was the biggest disaster ever in the history of, I believe, of Casablanca Records. They shipped out 500,000.
No, they shipped out a million each of each record, and I think they took back like 3 million. Aces with that Back in New York Groove was the only one that sold. I mean, huge. One of the biggest blunders in the history of music.
Ace's debut was on Love Gun, which was Shock Me. That was his debut song, but the solo albums
Make Me Feel Better
was New York Groove, which is, I mean, that whole solo album was incredible.
Did you know that that's not even his song?
Yeah, it's not. It's a cover. I didn't know it for the longest time. I think a lot of kids growing up with Ace didn't know it, but then I found out later on, and no, it wasn't. He also covered from the Rolling Stones, Keith Richards' song, 2000 Man.
When you were when you were a kid and you I want to go so badly, your parents wouldn't let you, or you just, it wasn't even possible?
It wasn't even an issue. No, I'm just not going.
Did you ask, or were you too afraid
sure.
to?
Sure.
You weren't afraid to ask.
Yeah, I'm not taking you to that place with all those crazy people. You know, it's every place. My dad, I was getting stabbed and killed no matter where I was.
Did you not have an aunt or a cousin who you could have gone to?
No, they were all off the boat. You know. My aunt lived across the street. Her husband, Minziona, worked in a pizza place. She was a stay-at-home mom. You know, my grandparents were down nobody.
So it wasn't so much...
And my Uncle Nicky loved Elvis.
Was it about, it was more about what Kiss was than, we're not paying for that? Or, would they take you to any kind of entertainment type things?
Nothing. I've never been to anything as a kid.
Did you go to movies?
The circus?
Movies. I went. There was this guy named Nino who was my dad's good friend. And after we would close up the pizza shop, once in a while, my dad would give Nino money to take me to the movies. So that was my only memory as far as movies are concerned. I think we saw Superman 2, and some other 3D movie back then.
Well, today Howard...
And then Nino died. God bless him.
Today Howard brought up the whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing, and Robin was all upset about Cat Stevens and how he can even be considered, even though he's not in, but he should be. But then when Kiss comes up, Sal, immediately both Howard, Gary, everyone is like, no, I mean, Kiss is, they're a novelty act. They're fun to see live, but they're not worthy of the Hall of Fame.
All right, well, you can also argue that the Beastie Boys, were a novelty act when they first started. They were a parody
and then
rap
they changed,
act.
And then they changed.
Yeah.
Then they became very not novelty.
But I don't think Kiss, I think Kiss was just the opposite. Kiss came out, they had a different look. They were inspired by the New York Dolls. And a lot of people, and Alice Cooper was involved in that kind of shtick as well. But as time went on, Gene turned into a merchandising maniac.
But that's not a reason to be in a music hall of fame.
No, but I think the novelty now with Kiss is the Kiss casket, the Kiss umbrellas, the Kiss, just these stupid Kiss items that Gene puts out. I think Gene single-handedly ruined the legacy of Kiss with all these stupid things, lunch boxes and fishing poles and all that other shit that they put out. But if you look at Kiss stripped down, back in the 70s, like Kiss Alive, that was nothing but hardcore rock and roll. It really was. I mean, a lot of music certainly alludes a feeling. Kiss certainly assisted in that with the pyrotechniques and the makeup. They brought rock and roll to life. Kiss wasn't only musically, it wasn't also only for the ears, it was also for the eyes. And I think the combination of the two made them a phenomenal rock and roll band. And for them to be, shut out, it's just disgusting. It's blasphemous in the history of music.
Now, if you had a choice, I think I know the answers. Is it Kiss or Beastie Boys for you?
That's a great question. For Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I think is poorly put together, it should be Pop and Rock Hall of Fame.
Forget that.
It should be.
You've only got one. It's the end of your life, and you can only go see one show. Door number 1 is the Beastie Boys, and door number 2 is Kiss. Which one are you going to?
Wow, that's like a Sophie's choice for me.
A what?
It's like almost like I have to get rid of one. A Sophie's choice.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear what you said.
Wow. That is really, really hard to answer.
Got to pick one.
God.
Yeah, take your time. We're on the radio.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so sorry. I'd have to go with the Beastie Boys because they have integrity.
Really?
Yeah. Because
I was betting the farm you were going with Kiss because it meant more to you on an emotional level.
And also, Kiss's live show is all pyrotechnics and stuff like that, whereas Beastie Boys isn't necessarily the same kind of show.
At the same time, you have to give credit to the Beastie Boys that they didn't need to rely so much on the visuals of it.
Now, you were president of the Beastie Revolution. We've talked about that before.
Yes, on Prodigy.
But with Kiss and the Kiss Army, you didn't take any leadership role there with the
No,
fans?
I didn't have I wasn't accessible to that stuff.
Did you put makeup on as a kid?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
And what'd your parents say?
Nothing. They let me do it. That wasn't a big deal to them.
Were you Ace?
Yeah, I was Ace. I was Gene. And now, my kids, I created a band called the Little Gods of Thunder. I put them in makeup, and Antonio plays the drums, and Aiden plays the bass. So it's pretty cool. So I did that. The kids got to, but now my kids are done with Kiss too. They could.
Yeah, at my house we have a band called Thunder Road. Jackson's Clarence Clemens and Lucas's Max
Hello there,
Weinberg.
Daddy. Can I be Clarence?
I'm not even going to get into the band that we have at home, but let's just say it's a trio. Tony, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Hey, I think I know why. I'm sorry to throw you under the bus, Sal. I love you, buddy.
That's okay. I'm ready to take it, sir. Let me bend over and drop my pants. Go ahead.
I think I know why Sal got so emotional with Kiss, and that's because, his wife and him, that's something that they both share. I mean, that's something. She's a big fan of Kiss too, if I remember right.
No, she came to a concert. My wife, she hates Kiss. Well, she doesn't hate them anymore, but she's come to a few concerts with the kids.
I seem to remember unlike Sal, I'm friends with her on Facebook. I seem to remember her mentioning on there a few different times how big
message her and ask her what's for dinner tonight for me, please.
But I seem to remember her mentioning how she was a fan of Kiss and everything, and I just figured that was something maybe he was looking forward to, something that they could do together that they wouldn't argue and fight about. They could go to a Kiss concert and not kill each other, and maybe he'd get some afterwards.
Yeah, the loud music certainly drowns her out, so we do not fight at the Kiss concerts. But she goes, she's supportive with it, and the kids loved Kiss at a time.
Well, don't you guys bond over like Elton John or other musical artists?
We went to an Elton John concert, and I have to say, first of all, thank you. Ross Zapin really hooked me up. It's when I first came here, and we were 10th row. We were in the friends, family, and co-workers section.
Right.
Ross Zapin did something really sweet. Thank you, Ross. And I took my wife 10th row, and we were, literally dead center with Elton John. He's singing, and his performance was magnificent. And I'm holding my wife's hand, and it was like such an intimate time. And he sung a song. I don't know what it was. It was Daniel or something. And I turned to her and I kissed her, and she goes, "Oof, your breath smells like shit." And that's the only thing I can remember from that whole night.
That's very sweet.
But Elton John kind of brought us together. We've gone to a Billy Joel concert. Her parents got into a fight on the way there. They almost hit a pole on the way to the Coliseum because my mother-in-law made the wrong turn. My father-in-law grabbed the steering wheel. She punched him in the arm. So that was our Billy Joel experience. We have an Elton John one and Kiss.
Who would you say are bands that would cite Kiss as a big influence?
Well, Dimebag Darrell from Pantera was hugely influenced
I don't like
by
them either.
Ace Frehley. Well,
I was not a big
I'm not a
Pantera
huge Pantera fan as well, but there are so many bands out
like
there.
who?
I really don't know. I know about Dimebag specifically, but there are a lot of bands. Okay, for example, Pearl Jam. Mike McCready, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know exactly the names of the players. He is hugely influenced by Ace Frehley. As a matter of fact, there's a song in Alive. The solo was taken directly from a solo that Ace Frehley did, the intros, and they invited Ace Frehley down to Madison Square Garden to perform with them. So Pearl Jam, I don't think you could get a better example.
When Rush broke out in America, they were touring with Kiss.
Is that right?
Yeah, Kiss made a huge impact with them. Like the Rush guys would go back to the hotel room and write music, and Gene Simmons like, who are these assholes? Like, don't they have a good time out on the road? It's part of the DVD.
And
Two bands snubbed by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes.
I believe it started where Kiss opened for Rush, right? And
then
a few years later, Rush opened for Kiss.
On Thursday's wrap-up show, all eyes were on J.D. Harmeyer. J.D. tried to play a little joke by not telling Gary that Howard was still sleeping in the back. And on Howard's show, Howard just ripped apart J.D. He felt bad. Gary also felt hurt. J.D. tried to explain himself, and that is where the show is, folks. Here we go.
We should lead off with what Howard started the show with, and that was the story about J.D. letting Gary wake up Howard during his nap. And I don't know if the blame was fair to give to you, JD. I guess Lee went in there to take the blame, and Ronnie said he was partly at fault, and everyone was saying, oh, it's my fault. But Howard was, one, genuinely pissed off, and two, disappointed, I guess, a little bit in you, JD, because he felt like, he's got... I
am. We'll get to me.
Well, we'll get to Gary's first. Here, so I could talk about Howard, because he's not... he said he's always got your back, and in this situation, you didn't have
when he's not yelling at me on air. But yes, for the most part.
You don't think Howard has your back?
No, he does. He does. I was joking.
And a soft spot for you, but maybe that might be gone now after this. He was really disappointed.
I know, and I feel terrible. I pissed him off, and then I disappointed Gary.
Now, while you were in there during this, Gary and I were talking a little bit, and Gary said to me point blank, he's like, wow, like JD of all people, and he really, you seem genuinely hurt, Gary.
Here's why, and I'll tell you, here's why. If JD's on the wrap-up show, I'll take a jab at him. He'll take a jab at me. We'll fuck around. But I don't think I've ever played a practical joke on JD. The hijinks that go on in the office, I stay away from that shit. I let him and Will joust. I let you fuck with him. I sort of leave JD alone in there. So I was surprised that he felt that I needed to be the victim of one of his pranks.
No, first of all, it wasn't like it wasn't really a prank, and there was no premeditation or anything at all. It just sort of happened, and I just sort of let it happen, and then thinking it would be funny to have it translate over into the next morning, and then it just and then whenever.
But what do you think would happen? You thought Howard would go ha ha ha?
No. I thought he would. I thought he would. It would be like the phlegm thing. You know what I mean? I thought it would be sort of to that degree. I didn't think he would be pissed off or he'd rail on you all day or something.
You thought he'd break Gary's balls over waking him up?
Yes, and mine, but whatever. But I did not. As soon as Howard walked out, and then he said told Gary to be quiet, and then he looked at me and goes, "JD, come on." I was like, "Oh fuck me."
So did you know it backfired right then?
It was like, oh shit. And then when we walked in this morning, he called me a prick and an asshole. And then and then when Ronnie said the thing where I said it'd be funny for Gary to get yelled at, and Gary goes, "Oh man, really?" And I was like, "Fuck." It just all went to hell.
Well, what hurt more, the disappointment that Howard showed, or the disappointment that Gary showed?
Both, because there's been these sort of years or whatever of I guess trust or whatever, and sort of. I try not to rock the boat, and then I ended up rocking the boat by not doing something, and Just...
Now, do you feel that you are you, which is fine. I don't. It's listen, in the scheme of things, is it that big of a deal? No, but do you feel? Are you more hurt that they are disappointed in you, or do you now look back and say, "Oh, I did the wrong thing"?
Both. There is, as dumb as, well, it's not dumb, but there is I feel I've taken a responsibility into myself, having an office next to Howard. I realize after, to show how important he gets his quote unquote work done.
So with a close office comes great responsibility.
Yes, and and 99% of the time. I'm usually good at quieting people down and stuff, and I would go out of my way to tell someone down the hall to be quiet, and then
but is it your job to tell someone down the hall to be quiet?
It sort of is.
Or does that fall on? Who's responsible for the hallways?
Well, everybody's responsible for themselves, but I want to start by saying, first of all, the whole thing's on tape, which is great because I was taping it for Howard TV. Yeah. So Howard goes out of his office and the camera swings around. I was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't even think Howard was still there." I think I said this on the air this morning, but we were doing pickup shots from a bit that we're doing for me giving a tour of the studio that's going to run on Howard TV. So I finished the wrap-up show, and I said, "Okay, I'm ready to do it." And they said, "Let's go." But nobody said, "Oh, by the way, keep it down in the halls. Howard's still here." I didn't think Howard was still there. Like, we just saw Howard walk by. He usually leaves sometime during the wrap-up show, but not always. And so, on top of that, I was only supposed to go to Richard and Sal's office because the day we shot it, they weren't there. But I realized while we were doing it, the day we shot it, JD wasn't there. He went home.
No, I was there. We had shot. That was another thing. Like he was redoing something that he had already done.
See, I forgot. I thought you weren't there that day. So anyway, that's what happened. But the other thing that was interesting was I went right back to my office. And I called Howard, and I got his voicemail. And I said, "Listen, man, I'm really sorry. I had no idea that you were still here. I was doing the shot." And I go, "I apologize. I didn't mean to wake you up." And I left a message. He called me back, I don't know, like 5 o'clock last night. And he said, "Listen, man, I got your message. Don't worry. It's no big deal. It's good. Don't even give it a second thought." So I didn't, and I should have.
Yeah, because look what you walked into this morning. But now, is it someone?
It's not Gary's fault. I'm the blame.
And I want to bring someone else into this too, who sort of skated away a little too easily. Ronnie, we walked down the hall, and Ronnie goes to me. He says, "I told you guys, I warned you guys," and I was like, "Nobody said or warned me about anything."
That's my next question. Should you know coming out of here that maybe Howard could be in there, so you shouldn't go down there? Or does Ronnie have? Because did you see Ronnie when you walked back? Because if Ronnie's here, Howard's still here.
I don't remember if I saw Ronnie when I walked back. Sometimes he's in TV. I don't remember seeing him. My first recollection of seeing him was after when he said to me, "I warned you guys. I told you guys."
So but
he was in the hallway while it was going on, and he might have said, "Gary, he's still here," and I would have gone, "Okay, we'll shoot this later."
So wait, did he warn you?
No.
So what do you think? Do you think he was just?
I don't know what he was thinking.
He said he was getting his coat because it was almost time.
Which is fine. If he was getting his coat and he didn't see it, then don't say, "I warned you." Because you didn't.
Well, maybe he feels that there's a global warning. Like, you should know that at that time you shouldn't be messing with that corner of the office. And it's not the first time Howard's walked out, and he's had to shut a couple other people up, right, JD?
If I would have known when we built this studio, I was telling you, John, I went to visit a friend the other day who has a home theater, his apartment in the city, and I was telling you how soundproofed it is. And it's not that expensive to soundproof a room. Had I known that Howard was going to use that room the way he does, I would have soundproofed it better. There's a special sheetrock you can use that's soundproof, and I would have put a better seal on the door.
Well, that's what I was told, early on or whatever. I was told that it was, pretty soundproof because that's what they knew. They didn't want my work to disturb Howard. But, I guess sometimes when my door is open, it can get through his door, and that's the whole thing.
I didn't realize that you took on the role of sort of a gatekeeper there and keeping people quiet, and you assumed that responsibility having the office next to Howard's.
Oh, well, you've seen it enough times, and he's talked about it on air, about people talking and stuff, and yeah, kind of.
So when you walked out, was this like the worst you felt in terms of disappointing?
No, definitely, yes. Probably one of the worst, and it's I will just not fuck around anymore. I need to stay focused and then realize, keep everyone to be quiet.
I don't know that it's JD's responsibility to keep everybody in the hallway quiet, but I do think he had a certain responsibility since I was talking directly to him. In other words, if it's going on outside the room and he's listening to something, but I was talking directly to him and he's just going,
Yeah, JD, did a part of you think like, all right, maybe I should tell Gary, or were you just were you enjoying the moment too much?
No, it was both, John. It was happening, and I was thinking, and there was just a lot going on in my head, and I was like, "Oh, is he talking too loud? And there's a camera. Should I be quiet him off because we're on camera, or should I just let him go? Or it would be funny to have Howard. It was just
who was it? So now that you feel bad, who was it a bigger sin towards, Howard or Gary?
I think he answered that. Well, before you walked in.
I should have quieted him down.
What were you going to say, Gary?
The other thing that I find really amusing is, I was moderately disappointed by JD. I was like, wow, because I didn't know that it was premeditated. But
no, it wasn't premeditated.
It was a premeditated omission.
Right. But in other words, it was something that you thought about, you could have stopped and you decided not to. So it wasn't premeditated, but it wasn't it happened and you let it happen.
Yes.
So I was sort of weirded out by that, but not to the point where like I'm so upset I can never look JD in the eye again. So after that, I happen to go over. I'm thinking about having all the guys from our fantasy football league up to my house on that Sunday after we go on vacation to go sit in the man cave and in the home theater and watch all the games and just have beers and hang out. So I went and talked to JD and I said, hey, by the way, we're going to do this thing. And JD, he could hardly look at me and he goes, I guess if you still want me. I was like, well, it's not that bad. It's not like I never want you to come to anywhere again.
You thought it was a pity invite?
No. It was just, he brought this up like a couple minutes after I basically, I don't know, I get the backstabbed him or whatever.
I sent him a note about something to put for the show. And he sent me a note. He goes, it will be hard to look you in the eye for a while.
for a bit. Yeah,
I noticed you can't even turn and look at Gary during this conversation.
No, I'm looking at him a little bit, but Who's that? Someone was talking about. No, I can look at him a little bit, but he
can't look me in the eye when everything's fine.
Do you feel like you need to get back at him now in some way, or is
that's another thing.
I'm not. First of all, it wasn't such a great prank that it needs to be.
It wasn't a great prank at all.
But I'm not big into. I don't like doing. Stuttering John and I went through this, and it just got uglier and uglier. He stole the Gary puppet, and then I did the bit where I fired him, where he was curled in the fetal position, and even somebody in the office, I think Kathy was our office manager. She's like, you know what? This has gone way over practical jokes. You fired him, and he almost cried. And I don't like getting into the. If I get him back, then he's going to get me back worse.
And one last question.
I probably wouldn't because I'm not like that.
Well, one last question, JD, on this, and then we'll move on. Do you feel like you've dropped in status in Howard's eyes in some way? Like, do you feel you have to regain trust with Howard now that this has happened?
Well, like I said, not just Howard, but Gary.
I'm not talking about Gary. I'm talking about Howard.
Yeah, okay. Well, both, but yes, Howard. Yeah.
Because when Howard says, I thought you were my bro, and he goes down that path, that's a pretty serious thing to say.
Yes. And I don't think Howard is a sucker. But I just said it because I knew he would kept going on and on.
You didn't mean it?
No.
By the way, who on the show hasn't been forced to say that to Howard? I know Richard had to say that to him. I think
Sal.
I've been forced to say it to him. Sal, JD, Benji probably. Benji, tell me I'm an ass, right? Tell me I'm an idiot, right? I'm sure at some point you got into that. Very few people haven't been painted into that corner.
Will Murray has now joined us.
Yes.
A lot of times you goof on JD, you make fun of him, you tease him. You guys have this little thing going back and forth.
Can't wait for this.
Today, do you feel like Howard was genuinely disappointed in what JD did, and it's going to hurt in terms of he almost said, "Okay, I guess JD's leaving the nest." Like, he was.
It is. It was disrespectful. Howard has taken him under his wing. He's been nice to JD, and JD just stepped on him basically. Right?
No, in that one instant, I don't know if it stepped on him, but
listen.
Go ahead.
Treat Howard like a gym and just leave him alone, okay?
Oh.
I want you to treat him like one of those value meals you buy, and just treasure him a little bit. All right?
I'm so glad I stayed for this.
Do you think?
I'm glad you got that line out there.
Do you think Howard was more hurt or Gary was more hurt by what JD did?
Gary should be hurt too. He hired JD. He uses JD's work all the time. He tries to make him into a somewhat professional producer, and this is how he thanks him. It's ridiculous, right?
Yes.
JD, do you hate Will or Jason more?
Right now, I hate Will more.
Wow. Why? What'd I do? I'm just saying. I thought it was a little disrespectful.
Down here and be a douchebag.
Huh?
You know what you're doing.
Listen, I'm just saying, I probably wouldn't pull practical jokes on Howard. That's a no-no. And you thought, you do your own little bit for Howard TV or whatever it was there.
No. There was no bit.
It was a bit.
It was no bit.
You knew the camera was going back there. You knew he was trying to say
I didn't know it was coming back until he actually came back.
What? So why didn't you say anything? Was your mouth full?
Was it a practical joke on Howard or was it a practical joke on Gary?
How many more fat jokes did you write down over there, asshole?
I'm out of jokes.
Exactly.
Well, was
it off the cuff now?
Was it a joke on Howard
off the cuff?
or was it a joke on Gary?
Say that again?
I said, do you feel JD was like pulling a practical joke on Howard or was he pulling
on everyone?
It on Gary?
He's trying to pull one over on everyone. He thinks he's better than everyone around here.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Shut up.
I mean, really.
Now you're being dumb.
No, but I'm just saying, Gary deserves just as much respect as Howard.
I
right?
do. I respect.
So why didn't you say you knew that you were just putting him, you were basically setting a trap for Gary, right?
In that sense, I guess, and not saying something, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I feel bad for it. It backfired on me, and, What am I going to do?
Well, I don't know what else to say, you know?
Anything you want to say to Will?
No, I have nothing to say to Will.
Why?
Ever anymore.
It's getting around lunch. He's getting hungry. He can't think very well. Hey, stop. Come on. Come on. I didn't mean that.
Goodbye.
Don't leave before the plug, JD.
Wait.
No, that's
wait.
okay. Jimmy, fuck Will.
Listen. Come on.
Listen what?
Come back.
Listen
Come back.
what?
I noticed you're not running.
Come back. He's got one more joke on his sleeve.
All right, we got to wrap up the wrap-up show. JD, don't go.
This is the best of the wrap-up show. A recap and behind-the-scenes look with John High and Gary Dell'Abate. The best of the wrap-up show begins now.
Hey, I'm Gary Dell'Abate. On Monday's wrap-up show, we talked about a ton of stuff. We talked about Chelsea Handler. She talked about wanting to be famous, and we talked about whether we wanted to be famous or not. We talked about tipping. We talked about Mitch Patel, my old intern, and his girlfriend came in, and they're swingers, and how she wants to fuck a guy, and he's not into that. And then JD came in and discussed whether he'd be into that. We covered a wide array of subjects, and here's what happened.
Today, Chelsea Handler dropped by, and was Chelsea happy to be up here? In the beginning, she sounded a little tired, but by the end, she was clicking with Howard.
I think she digs the show. I think everybody hates getting up early, and I think part of her personality is that I think part of her comedy is that she's perennially irritated and pissed off. Like, that's sort of part of who she is.
And Howard loves that.
Right.
Yeah, he loves talking to someone who's as pissed off as he is about a lot of different things.
And willing to talk about it.
Right.
And name names.
Right. And which they did. The first thing I thought that got out was Howard's old college pal, Ted. Chelsea didn't hesitate to talk about him at all.
Right.
And they quickly bonded over that.
Howard is never like Ted. Ted is like a thorn in Howard's side. And every time he got more and more successful, it used to irritate the shit out of Howard. You know, he came on our show once.
And how'd that go?
It wasn't as much fun as making fun of him. And I don't make fun of him. I'm saying for Howard, it probably wasn't as much fun as goofing on him.
Now, why is being famous so important to Chelsea?
I don't know. I mean, she sort of said that it's something that she always dreamt of doing, that she wanted to do. I liked when she talked more about how you think that when you get famous, you can really rub it in everybody's faces, and it's not nearly as much fun as you would think it would be.
Well, that's what Howard said when he ran into,
Right.
he felt sad more than actually, hey,
Right.
it's time to gloat. But is being famous important to you?
I'd be lying if I said on some level it wasn't. I mean, when I was in college, I thought that I had a chance to sort of be recognizable, and I like the idea of it, and I like it. I enjoy it.
How about you, Benji?
I think the perks, not I'm famous to a level, to like someone that's like a character on a reality show, but to the perks that we get from it, I think are great, and it's also nice. Like, I like the idea. It's an entree into people. It's like you feel like a little bit more connected to everyone, but the actual just being famous for being famous is not a huge turn on to me.
Yeah, I always say that the best part of working on the show is being a B celebrity who works for an A celebrity, or even a D celebrity who works for an A celebrity, because you do get some cool perks. But like Howard, so almost can't utilize the perks that he gets because he's so famous. He can't. It's hard for him to go to the baseball game and sit in the stands.
What did you think of Chelsea's story about waitressing and how important the tip is?
First of all, I learned something today. I had no idea that they have to pay 8% tax on somebody's bill. That's crazy. Did you know that?
No.
I never heard that before.
That.
But I get, listen, I worked at TGI Fridays, and I worked with waitresses who were like Chelsea, who just went up to guys and said, really, you're not going to fucking tip me? And there were all sorts of discussions of which ethnic groups, and, like I know that I got yelled at. I was the host, and I got yelled at for seating a table of women in a waitress's section. And I go, what are you mad at? She goes, don't fucking put women in my section. They don't tip for shit.
Actually, yeah, she made an anti-Semitic comment about that.
Well, she said, you're the kind of Jew that makes a Jew like me, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess when you're Jewish, you can make anti-Semitic remarks. But I do get,
She's showing half a comment.
When you work hard and somebody tips you, somebody putting $10 down an $800 bill is just, it's the worst thing you can do.
Do you feel pressure to tip well? I mean, have you always felt that pressure?
Yeah. My pressure is, I like to tip well anyway because I think I make enough money to do it, but my other pressure is if you tip like shit, someone will call the show.
That's right. So you better...
Which is, I think, is exactly what Howard... In fact, I was telling you this before. Howard and I went out to dinner one night, and I got to remember if I got this right, but I think I picked up the bill, and I put my credit card down, and Howard insisted on leaving a tip, which I thought was weird, but now that I think about it, I realize Howard probably wasn't sure I was going to leave a big enough tip, or not a Howard Stern caliber tip, and he didn't want to leave it to me, and I understand because when we leave, nobody says Gary tipped me like shit. It's Howard Stern tipped me like shit. So, and Howard always leaves ridiculous sized tips.
So do you have a general standard? Like I know 15 to 20%.
I'm 20 to 25%. I mean, I'm guaranteed 20%, sometimes 25%. But again, I would never tip under 20%.
Rick, you're on the wrap-up show. Hey, Rick.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
So I just that bit that Chelsea was talking about with the tipping.
Yeah,
the 8%.
Yeah, they actually can cost the waitress money to wait on somebody. They take out a percentage of their gross sales to divvy out to the bar, the hostesses, the bus, and all that. So they have to pay that no matter what.
Well, wait a second. She said
not.
You're saying that they take out money to divvy up to everybody. She's saying she has to pay 8% tax. Is that what?
I think no, it's not really tax. I think she just misexplained it.
Right.
But because on any kind of transaction that's credit card, they can trace it. So anything that isn't cash money, you have to pay on.
I do know that when you work in a restaurant, you have to tip the bar backs and the bus boys and some other people. But I understand that, if you first of all, I don't know who's going to tip 8% or less. You got to think I think in the worst places you tip 10%, but that's unheard of.
You never know, Gar. You never know. But moving on with Chelsea, what did you think of her explanation of her relationship with 50 Cent?
It sounded like she really liked him. It sounded like she went out with him for a goof and found out that she really dug him.
Yeah, and it sounded like when they broke up, they haven't spoken. I guess they get along well now, but they didn't speak to each other for a while based on what she had said to him. So why does she have the ability to fly? I mean, she's an unbelievably successful author. Her television shows are doing well. How does she get to fly under the radar?
Because what are you going to find out about her that she hasn't told you in any of her books or she doesn't say on her show? I think that's a huge thing for her.
And is it odd? I mean, you did it in the book you wrote. I mean, when you put so much of yourself out there, then people sort of think they know you very well, and all of that is there. And I think her and Howard bonded over that a little bit.
But Howard tells everything on the radio show, yet he still gets followed a lot.
True.
But not Jennifer Aniston, whoever it's Julia Roberts caliber. But yeah, he gets followed a lot. I understand though what she said. It's the best of both worlds for her. She gets all the perks and none of the shit.
We're going to move off of Chelsea Handler and on to your former intern, Gary, Mitch, and Jessica, who look great.
She's really pretty.
Does it make you feel awkward at all when Mitch... was Mitch like this when he interned for you?
Absolutely not. He was in college. He was in his maybe 20 or 21. And he was your typical horny college kid. We talked about, chicks we thought were hot. But I don't remember him being like a sex fiend or like having I need to do threesomes. I think he was looking for onesomes at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he seems to hit the mother load with his fiance, but his fiance now wants to bring another guy in bed. And Mitch,
deal breaker.
Well, it doesn't seem like it's a deal breaker for Mitch.
Yeah, I find the whole thing fascinating, and I don't judge. But I don't think, as I was listening to them talk about it, I said, on the surface, it sounds like a really great idea. Like, oh, my girlfriend's going to let me fuck other girls, or my wife's going to let me fuck other girls. But to me, it sounds both physically and mentally to be an enormous strain. You know what I mean? Like, you have to think about what does it mean? What does it mean? The going out to get them. It just seems like a lot of
scheduling.
A lot of work. It seems like a lot of work. And so I don't know. I don't know Mitch, the comedian swinger. I know Mitch, the intern.
But by the way, she said she would be okay with them having a monogamous traditional relationship. Just if they did that, she doesn't think she would want to bring in other girls if he didn't, eventually let her bring in other guys.
And do you think that's a fair request?
Do I think it's fair? I think anything's fair if you're married and being upfront and saying, this is, and you're not exploiting the other person. I think it's fair that that's what she wants and that's what he wants.
JD, would you be able to handle another guy in bed?
No. I can barely handle me in bed.
Hold on.
What size bed does JD even have?
but JD, let's go to this one, right?
Yes.
Like who's one of your hot girls? Like a girl that you really love. Is there an answer to this?
No, I mean there's a lot. There's
okay.
There's a lot.
So the girl that was in Katrina, right? You like her?
Katrina Bowden.
So she's on 30 Rock. So she's super hot. So say Katrina Bowden says, "Hey, I want you to come and I want to hook up with you, and my boyfriend's just going to sit in the corner and jerk off."
No. No, I couldn't. That's too weird. I can't have another guy.
Not going to come near you. Not going to touch you. He's all the way in the corner.
I could have. If I was into that, I could have did that when I was down at hedonism, because that's all. That in fact, that was probably the only way I would have gotten laid. And since I wasn't into it, I didn't get much of anything. So no, I would not. No other guys. I want no other penises in the room. It's just mine.
But if other girls are around.
Oh, that's no, that's fine with me.
Double standard.
Well, listen, I'm sorry. I'm just being me.
But the more the merrier, right?
Oh, I don't know. Well, no, I don't know about that.
But just Gary's
the more
scenario,
it might be sadder.
Gary's scenario, like, so you said the Katrina Bowden is her name, like, is one of your hottest chicks, like, so you couldn't have the guy in there jerking off. What if she told you like he was just watching but not jerking off?
No. I don't want to be watched. I don't want to be analyzed whatsoever.
What if he knew about it and was like, I'm going to let you guys in the room alone. I'll leave and I'll come back. Or call me when you're done. I'll come back.
Well, I don't know.
All right, Katrina, you have a little shot here.
Hey, by the way, Benji, because you've been into some interesting stuff. Have you ever been with a chick where a dude's been in the room just watching?
Yes, but like I've been in it. Like that's never would be my first choice.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
I don't think it's anybody's.
Well, no, I think it is some people's, but opportunistically, when that's the only way it was going to happen,
right.
Yeah, yeah, it's happening.
And
it's not.
If Elisa wanted to bring another guy in,
no,
would you
no
be
way,
okay with
no,
that?
absolutely no way. No.
But see, for me, the guy in the corner only freaks me out because, like, I'd have one eye open because I think I keep waiting for him to, like, I'll just shove a finger up your ass, because you have your attention somewhere else and he catch you off guard.
Waiting for him to slowly creep in.
Yeah.
So on Tuesday's wrap-up show, I went in to talk about the whole Ronnie fiasco. Apparently, he didn't enjoy me calling him borderline stupid. But and then after that, I talked about his whole yelling at his appearances and what a nightmare that is. I've seen that at a party, so here it is.
Howard says he wishes he wasn't associated with one of the two Ronnie Munns that he's gotten to know, and we should get into that a little bit when Ronnie comes in here about how he really is two different people, Gary.
I agree.
There's the character and the...
Because you and I talked about this when we were in Vegas, about, like, we love Ronnie and how Ronnie has a big heart, what a great guy he is. But I don't know that guy's coming across on the air a lot lately.
Well, that guy wasn't doing that contest in Vegas. You could see that. I mean,
I started to write Howard a note last night. I canceled it at the last second. But after I watched Ronnie, I wrote him a note that said, I thank God, I thank you and God every day that I don't have to do these appearances anymore. Because when you go out in front of a crowd, there's... you feel compelled to do something.
Right.
And when you don't have an act or you don't do anything, Ronnie and I are famous for being famous. I'm famous for I can't book a guest in front of a crowd. And so I never felt comfortable doing it.
Well, Ronnie also took issue with Scott DePace. He was insulted that Scott called him stupid, and he kind of went off on you, Scott, really out of left field. I didn't see that coming, did you?
Your mistake, Scott, was that you gave your opinion on how smart you think everybody is, and somebody asked you, but once you put that out there, everyone's going to come back.
The fact is, everyone here has called me stupid from one time or the other, and Ronnie, everyone, Howard, I mean, all those guys. So yeah, I guess I'm not Howard. All of those guys have pretty much said that he's stupid. They pretty much made fun of his poem. And somehow I'm the bad guy. So, okay.
But you know what I think the difference is? Like, I'll say sometimes, Scott, you're being stupid, or I think your politics are stupid, but I don't think you are stupid. You sort of made the blanket statement pursuant to nothing.
Look, it's an
I think
interview.
Ronnie is in general stupid.
All right, ask me the question again. Rank people around.
Do you think
here.
Ronnie's a bright guy?
Yes, everyone here is very bright.
But you're not being real.
Well, I mean, how else am I supposed to answer?
Tell the truth. Tell what you feel.
I think I did.
You pride yourself on answering questions honestly and bluntly.
Yeah.
And now you're saying that you think Ronnie is a bright guy? Because in that interview, it didn't sound like you thought Ronnie was a very bright guy.
I don't think John understands sarcasm.
You are a point above him in IQ.
Yeah, clearly, I'm missing it. That's the one point.
Maybe you're the dummy. Look, do I think he's borderline stupid? Like I said, no. That's a little...
Is there anyone here you think is?
No. I don't even know if Bobo was. I don't think I've ever met someone borderline stupid besides a retarded guy.
So what's borderline stupid?
Yeah,
because it's not retarded.
Define borderline stupid.
Just someone who you can't even have a conversation with, who has no sense of reason or I don't know.
But that's retarded, what you're talking about. There are stupid people who aren't retarded.
Well, show me one of them. Who do you think is here?
I think that Sal, in some areas, can be bright, and in some areas, I think Sal lacks common sense.
So that's your way of sugarcoating.
No,
I think
in
some ways
I don't think Sal's
stupid.
stupid. I think Sal lacks book smarts, and I think he lacks common sense. On the other hand, I think sometimes he's sort of a little street smart. He's sharp in some other areas, so I don't completely discount him. But sometimes he doesn't think things through.
He's brilliant at making some of those calls.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I said that I think Sal is reasonably intelligent. But so maybe I should say Ronnie doesn't show or sound very intelligent, but he can drive very well.
Okay.
I mean, like I don't know. I made a comment and he got angry and.
Do you see why Ronnie would find that comment insulting?
I would say that you'd be stupid for being surprised that he's mad that you called him stupid.
No, I mean my point is that everyone here has called me stupid, and Howard has basically said that he's not. Stupid is a strong word, and maybe that's the problem. I shouldn't be saying stupid because I don't think he's stupid. But if we had to take an SAT test, let's say we all had to go in and. My money's not going on him. That's it.
So he's not strong academically in your eyes.
What do you think?
I'm just stating what you said.
I'm not sure how I feel right now. What do you think?
You're not sure how you feel because you're backpedaling on what you said before.
Well, that's really what I meant. I just mean that Ronnie's a great guy. And like he said, he's successful in business.
So did you feel bad saying that about Ronnie? Because it heated up pretty quickly between you two.
Well, I felt bad that he got so upset. I mean, I thought his skin was a little thicker. That I always think I'm always surprised when anyone here gets upset because of all the.
But you get upset.
That goes on. I do when it's 5-on-1 sort of thing. That's
no, you get if somebody takes a shot at you, it upsets you sometimes.
Not really, go ahead.
I'm not looking to fight with you. But who do you think here? Have you ever met anybody like that's borderline stupid? Like some of the whack packers? No, because I think it's a funny phrase. Like where would you put Miss Howard Stern?
I've never really. I don't speak to a lot of the guests, so I don't really. But my interaction from what they. Yeah, I think Miss Howard Stern is probably borderline stupid. I think is Beetlejuice officially retarded? Because if not, he's definitely stupid.
You really have to ask that question?
Well, I don't know. What is there a clinical term? And how do you? I don't
know what the clinical term is. But if you ask somebody to spell red 3 times and they spell 3 different ways, I'm going to go with whatever that phrase
is. Then he's flat out retarded.
Steve in Pennsylvania, you're on the wrap-up show.
High pitch Eric seems very stupid.
Hello.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve Carnathan, I'm a big fan. Hey, listen, DePace, you're just a backpedaling asshole, first of all.
Shut up.
And
you're
second of all, Ronnie runs his business, and he runs it better than obviously you did.
I don't run Ronnie's business.
No, Ronnie runs his own. He's a hell of a lot more successful than you are. You're just a typical politician, backpedaling asshole.
I'm not a politician. What?
Now, Scott, did you think it was fair for Howard to be upset at Ronnie and the way he behaved out in Vegas? Do you think Ronnie's representing the show?
I mean, listen, Ronnie's his own guy. If he's going to say that this is Ronnie from the Howard Stern show, I could see Howard's point.
But, I mean, it's a Howard TV event. He's saying Howard TV up there.
I don't know. I'd be curious to talk to some of the people. Do they think are they getting some part of the Howard Stern show? Or they think it's going to be a big comedy show? Or if they go expecting to hear some guy just yell at them the whole time, well, then they deserve it.
Gary, what do you think? Should Howard be upset by this? He said he doesn't want to associate himself with that kind of guy.
The thing is, I think that Ronnie's sort of getting mixed signals because Ronnie hasn't really changed too much. He's always sort of been like that. I think that Howard's perception of how he'd like to be received by the audience might be changing a little, which he's totally entitled to, by the way. And so maybe one day he wasn't paying attention. One day he woke up and somebody sent him the tape. It's like, oh my God, that's who's out there representing me. I'm not sure that I'm crazy about that anymore.
So you think Howard has changed, not Ronnie?
Yeah, to some degree, and I think that's perfectly fine for somebody to change.
Just so everyone knows, that is the guy that shows up at all the parties that we have.
But if you go to dinner with Ronnie, or if you just hang out with Ronnie, that's not the guy you hang out with.
No, because normally that's before that guy comes out. When he gets a little drunk, then suddenly forget about it.
All right, Ted, let's take a break. We'll try and get Ronnie down here to refute some of what Scott said, calling him borderline stupid. Ronnie just joined us, and Ronnie, we were talking to Scott about him calling you borderline stupid, and he's backed off of that a little bit, but you went after him pretty hard today.
What do you mean by backed off a little bit? What does that mean?
Well, he was trying to. Well, Scott, you should speak for yourself. I don't want to put words in your
I already
mouth.
did it once. I can't. I don't know.
I think he said that he doesn't think you're book smart, but you drive well.
No, that was a joke. I think that, to say you're borderline stupid is certainly an exaggeration. All I was saying is if we were going to
Why would you say it at all then?
They asked me the question, who is, rank everyone around here. And I had just got done hearing you do your poem, and I didn't think it sounded very good.
You just got done hearing me do my poem.
You had just said you had
I did my poem at the Christmas party. That was December 15th.
Yeah, the first one. The first poem about the winter. It's
okay.
cold.
You had just heard that?
You just said it on the air. And that was...
You're getting caught up. What we played was taped about a month ago with DePace as well. So he's saying when he was interviewed, he heard you it was a day or two after he heard you do your poem.
Oh, okay.
But Scott said, if you took the SAT, he doesn't think you do very well.
As well as most
can I ask you a question? What at this point in my life, does that matter now?
Yeah, I know. I agree with you.
Same thing with an IQ test. What is that going to do for me?
I agree with you.
And
100%.
what did it do for you, except to find out that Will is smarter than you?
That's debatable.
He passed it. He got a higher score, didn't he?
Still don't know how he did it.
I don't know, man.
Really?
I know it bothered him.
You can't get over the fact that he may be
No,
smarter
it bothered him badly, man.
There was that whole news story.
Which turned out not to be true.
Well, I don't know.
Do you think Will cheated and that's why he got more than you?
Look, I know he called me the day before he took it in a panic.
We all did. We were all. I called Howard in a panic the day. We all were in a panic, except for you.
And he called me in a panic, wanting to know everything about the test. And then he did a lot of research on it. I don't know. Look, he's a smart guy. I never said he wasn't. I just, the 131.
You can't just say he scored better than you on the IQ test.
I told you, it bothers him to no
Wow.
And that's your friend.
Maybe. All right, he probably did get the one.
I don't know.
Is there anyone here you feel is smarter than you?
I think everyone's smart.
Answer my question. Is there anyone here that you feel is
there
smarter
anyone
than you?
here whose intelligence intimidates me? No.
Is there anyone here who you feel is smarter than you are?
I don't know. How do I know that?
Is
anyone here a scientist? No.
It's a gut guess.
Gut guess? I'm sure there is.
But who would it be then?
It could be.
It's not Robin. It's not Fred.
Could be
Obviously.
Will.
Could be Will.
It could be Howard.
Mm-hmm.
It could be John.
But wait a second. So if you're doing the IQ test, throwing all the jokes out the window, John and I scored 1 point below you. It's a veritable.
John was a couple more than
No, John and I are the same.
Oh,
1 point.
It's a veritable tie. You don't think that we're all around the same intelligence, or do you think that 1 point really makes you so much smarter than John and I?
It was a really hard point.
No, I'm being serious.
I mean, you're the same as I am. It's obvious that the test. I mean, I don't know any other barometer than the IQ test. So what am I to say? You're right in the same family as I am.
No, but that's because it sounded like you were going a different way. But we were saying, who do you think here could be?
You said, what's my gut on who could be smarter than I? I don't think you're smarter than I am. That's my gut.
That's okay. I'm just wondering if there's anybody else that could be.
I don't know. I'd have to go through the whole list do
you think you're the smartest guy in the TV room, as a for instance?
Yes. No. Maybe.
Who was the no?
Goodstein, Ganji, Phelan.
You think Ganji might be smarter than you?
No. I'm smart.
Those were the yeses.
So Ronnie, you agree? Scott doesn't think anybody here is smarter than he is.
Yeah, I agree.
I just said you could be, John.
And that.
Well, you said it, but you didn't mean it.
Well, wait a second. John and I have the same IQ, so why could he be smarter than you, but I couldn't?
Well, I think yours is swayed in the memory category, which I don't value.
You don't know what
you have the Fred problem, Gary.
But you don't know what John scored high.
I don't know, Gary. I don't know. You're asking me these questions. I don't know. There's no way to judge.
Yet
Let's cut our brains open.
There's no way to judge, yet somehow you managed to.
Well, of course. I mean, you're asking me for a gut feeling. I'm not willing to say my gut says that you're smarter than I am.
Well, what would make you say I was stupid?
What do you think made Howard, Robin, and Fred at times call you stupid?
I never heard him call me stupid.
Well, stupid's a strong word. I've said that. All right, so let's back away from stupid. Let's say not as intelligent as they are.
Yeah, because of grammar and stuff and the shit I do with my appearances. That's drinking, okay? The shit I do in my appearances is having a good time.
Ronnie, why?
And if you've never been to one of my appearances either, everybody is having a good time, believe it or not.
I don't think anybody questions the fact that people are having a good time. If you watch the video, everyone's having a great time. But Howard seemed to say that this Ronnie Mund, he doesn't want to be any part of. He sort of wants to disassociate himself from you because you're representing the show in a way I guess he's not a fan of.
Okay.
Do you understand where he's coming from?
I
on
understand.
That?
I understand where he's coming from, but if you're not there to see the actual appearance and what's going on and how drunk everybody is there, I'm not even talking about me. I'm talking about the people that are there. You're in a club with 2,000 people there in this club, and they're all one is drunker than the other. It's just everybody's having a good time. That's all it is.
Yeah, I don't see too many people coming to a strip club and going, this is disturbing.
Nobody was insulted. I could tell you that.
Do you feel
I didn't insult anybody, I promise you.
Well, do you feel when you do these appearances, you're sort of giving the people what they want, like what they come for?
I think so, because it's a wild party is what it was. This wasn't a strip club. It was it was Lavo. It's a club.
It's a club.
One of the biggest clubs in Vegas.
Yeah.
Gary, when we have parties and Ronnie starts in with his yelling, what do you think of that?
I'm amused.
You're amused.
Yeah, I don't go, oh, there's dumbass Ronnie. I'm amused. I think it's funny. I've known
sometimes it goes on a little long.
I haven't been to a lot of those. Like the last time I really witnessed Ronnie genuinely out of control for any length of time. It was like 6 or 7 years ago. It was that Valentine's Day party. Where that was like really bad.
See, and that's fun. But then
that
when
was like, he was
else,
drunk at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 2 o'clock.
When everyone else starts jumping in, like Phelan starts yelling, and it becomes just a shout fest for no reason. I just want to stick a fork in my.
No, I get that.
But Howard feels that Ronnie's reflecting poorly on him. Like Ronnie is a reflection of his persona and who Howard is.
I guess it depends on how he's billed. If he's billed Ronnie from Howard Stern show, then maybe that could. But if everyone's
actually,
liking
this time I was billed as Ronnie from Howard TV.
Hey.
Yeah, you seem Howard. You think Howard TV bears some of the responsibility here, Ronnie?
Well, I don't. What, for me yelling?
Like, are they encouraging you to do more of that, or are you doing that on your own?
No, I think listen. Howard TV loves it. Okay, for the mere fact that they get content out of it. Mm-hmm. They get a TV show, behind the scenes show, whatever.
Is that in your head when you're up there?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's just I'm having fun. Everybody was having fun,
and I have to.
And the girls were having a blast on stage dancing. They were most of them were high as a kite. They not drunk. Not right. I don't know if high as a kite, but they were having a great time dancing. They wanted to win. The girl who won was thrilled.
And I take it back. Ronnie, I hate to keep bringing up bad times. It wasn't
They're not bad times to me.
It wasn't the Valentine's Day thing. It was Bubba's wedding.
Well, yeah,
that
was a bad time to me.
That was really the last time.
That I remember when the night ended, and I went back to my hotel room, and I sat there by myself, and I said, I am definitely fucked here.
What are your two egos again?
I knew it.
What is it? It's Ron and
Ronald.
Oh, Ronald. So you should try doing one of these events as the nice guy. What's that guy, Ron?
Yeah, nobody wants to come and see that.
Me then.
Let's have some respect for the women.
They're not paying to see Ronald. They're
and I didn't call
Ronnie.
the girl a shit ass. I'm telling. It was chit. I didn't say shits. I said chicks.
John in Long Island, you're on the wrap-up show. How you doing, John?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
I just kind of want to defend Scott here a little bit, which is kind of strange for me because I seem to never agree with him.
Okay. Thank you.
But Scott, I think he's kind of right. I know these are co-workers of yours, and it's very hard to call somebody that you work with stupid. But all the fans even know it's funny for the show to hear, like Ronnie's poetry and that whole thing where they were going to give Ronnie another show, and they called it More Ronnie, and he didn't even get the joke for a week. He is kind of.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's kind of.
No, I got the joke. I said it right away. Moron.
I said. A while to get it. Somebody had to explain it to you, and you came in and confronted Howard a day or two later and said, "You guys are making fun of me behind my back." But I mean, it's funny, but I think he put the wrong one lowest. I think Sal is definitely the lowest. He can't even pick out the U.S. on a map.
He's just not educated. There's a difference.
Yeah, well, that is kind of. I mean, you go through. If you graduate high school and you don't pick up some of the material, that is kind of stupid, don't you think?
stupid of the school to give him a diploma.
Well, and Sal gets very insulted if anybody calls him stupid.
That's his Achilles heel. If you say Sal's stupid, it's very upsetting to him. But he's right. And Sal's move is, what do I need to know where Florida is? What am I going to use it in my daily life?
Right.
I get on a plane, they take me there. What the fuck do I have to pick it on a map?
All right, thanks for calling in, John. So are you two okay now?
I apologize to Ronnie.
Yeah, which I know took a lot for Scott to apologize to somebody.
Did you think it was a sincere apology?
Yeah, I do. I really do. Yeah, I thought it was very sincere because I heard from little flies on the wall that he was upset about the whole thing after it went down.
Really?
Oh, then you're full of shit. Then your fucking apology doesn't mean nothing. Then
no. Wait, whoa. I mean, I wasn't pouting in the room.
No, I didn't say you were pouting. Did I say you were pouting?
I was upset that you were upset.
Bothered you. I said it bothered you.
Yeah, I didn't like.
Yeah, okay.
You and I were always good. I don't want to.
I've never had a bad word with you, but you know what? Last night the funny thing was when he said it yesterday. And John Lieberman, I think, came to me and asked me about it, and I just, what the hell are you talking about? I didn't even know that he did an interview about he was doing a story like this. But I went, now, I never hear the news stories, but now you can go on Twitter and listen to them. So I just went and listened to it in the afternoon. I heard it on Twitter on my phone, and it's like, what the fuck, man? What is with this guy? It bothered me all night. And I was just hoping it would come, because I had to explode today on this. I could
tell.
Now, if you unleashed, if you didn't go in for because Howard brought you in for the Vegas stuff, would you have gone up to Scott and told him that it kind of pissed you off what he had to say?
I would have waited because I knew sooner or later it would have probably came up on the air because I know Lieberman was going to headline it, and it would have came up then, and then I would have went in, but no, I don't think I would have confronted. Howard likes, like he said this morning,
on the air.
He loves fights. He loves it. He thrives on it. And
Hey, Ronnie, if you were asked if you had to pick a stupid person on the staff, who would you?
Benji, I wouldn't call anybody stupid.
That's
I've never called. I wouldn't do it.
Okay, that's
even
if you had to.
Even if I thought you were the dumbest fucking person in the world, I don't do that, and I don't tell people I hate them either.
Hi, I'm Scott the Engineer, and on Wednesday's wrap-up show, the subject came up of me screwing something up. I deleted some important material Howard was trying to play. I went in, I admitted it, and eventually he got mad but apologized, so check it out.
I think we should start with something that happened at the end of the show, which was Scott Salem deleting Howard's page. And the way Howard handled it, because you heard the anger, he yelled at Scott, he was all pissed off, and then a caller called in, and 10 minutes later he's apologizing for the way he treated Scott. But that's just a screw-up, Gary, that I was surprised. I thought it was going to go on for longer, and I wonder if Scott's heard the last of it.
It would have gone on for longer 15 years ago. I felt for Scott, and I felt for Howard. First of all, I need to explain to folks that all the pages that we have, the Gary page 1, JD page 2, all that stuff, as the show goes on, we play Howard all these bits, and Howard takes the best of these bits and he pulls them over to, it's called the cart rack, but I call it the on-deck circle. And Howard moves things around. He's like, okay, I'm going to play this and this and this, and this is the order. And so to go back and recreate that is near impossible because I gave him so much stuff this morning, I'm not positive I remember what was on his pages, and I don't always see what he pulls over. So Howard's like, and it's not just for today. If we didn't get to it today, it's waiting for him on Monday, and he constantly recreates that page. So I felt for him that went away. Hey, there goes Tom Green. What's up, man? I felt really bad for him that went away, but I felt really bad for Scott too because it's an honest mistake.
Yeah, and Scott said that. He said, I hit the wrong button, I made a mistake, but for it to happen at that point in the show, the way Howard was feeling, it's just not good.
It would have been worse if it happened at the beginning of the show because we would have lost. Howard at least got to play a bunch of the stuff that was on there.
Right.
But it's not good for anybody involved. But when I sit in there, I think of the days when I was under fire like that where I know I fucked up. And there's nothing you can say or do. You fucked up and you just have to sit there and take it, and you just don't know when it's going to end.
But aren't you better off just copping to it as Scott did, not pretending there was some weird thing that happened or a glitch or it just...
Absolutely, but sometimes that's worse because you're copping to it. You're like, I know, man, I fucked up. I'm so sorry. And he just doesn't care. You know, and you, what else can you do? You just have, it's like you're getting the shit kicked out of you, and you put your hands over your face and keep taking the punches until it stops.
And Scott took it, but the bowling thing came up again. And when Howard starts hitting you with that, you wonder, what subtext is going on.
And
there.
again, I used to take that all the time. It could be like I would fuck something up, and Howard would bring up an appearance I did a month ago. Oh, well, maybe you weren't at the car show a month ago. Maybe you'd get this shit right. And I was like, and so he grabs whatever weapons he can.
Yeah, and then you're thinking, is it on his mind still? And then it starts playing games in your head.
Well, Jason and I had this interesting conversation. I guess the reason why I'm so sensitive to the whole Scott thing is because I said to Jason, I remember those days, and Jason said, I said it would really hurt. And he said, well, but after when you went to break, Howard said I was just kidding around. I go, never. And Jason goes, God, as a listener, I just always assumed that you and Howard had this thing. And I go, no, we just sort of moved on. It was sort of unspoken, except sometimes I didn't know whether he was still mad or not.
Did you ever get an apology like that, like Scott got today? That quickly?
Yeah, but all more recently. I think so, but I'd say 90% of the time I didn't. 95% of the time I didn't.
And I wonder with Scott and the dates, I know he's doing the block party and the bowling and stuff like that. Does he think twice about doing it, or is Scott just so beaten down he takes it and he moves on because he knows eventually it's going to pass?
The second.
Yeah, I think so too. Were you impressed by how Scott handled himself in there, Benji?
That the more feeling was I felt horrible for him because it's like it's just like I thank God I'm not in a position like that. Something like that could happen. It sounds like it was like just a total mistake, and I understand what Howard's point of view. Right. It's like when you write a term paper and someone erases it.
That's right. That's exactly what it's like. It's really all the funny stuff for the day. And in his mind, he said, if I take this, it's like a puzzle. I'll take this and this and this and put it all together. It's going to work.
Yeah, and poof, it's gone.
Right.
So you understand where the anger is coming from. And Scott, that's one of the situations where you made an honest mistake. There's nothing you can do. Are you surprised he turned around and apologized to you so quickly?
Yeah, a little surprised. He probably wouldn't have done it if the caller didn't push him into it. But I was a little surprised. I didn't need that. I mean, I would be just equally as pissed off as he was. It's something that I did that shouldn't happen.
So after you hit the button and you realize what happens, what's going through your mind?
Oh, fuck. Shit. I'm like, God damn it. So I said, I can't just not tell anybody and let it go, and hopefully things won't show up.
Scott came to me. I was supposed to tell Howard during the break, and we had like this 45-second break where I was talking to him about a contest, and I just didn't get to it.
And he found it without you telling him?
That's right.
Oh, that's even worse. But I did go to Gary right after it happened. I said, listen, I deleted a page by accident. I just want you to know. I didn't just leave.
Oh, no. Yeah, he fessed up to it, but there's nothing you can do.
That was the only thing I could have done. I mean, so... Yeah, I felt really bad. It's not something that, I do.
What about the bowling comments and the block party comments and the other things that Howard said when he was sort of getting on you?
You know, when you get mad and you're in an argument with somebody, you just bring up shit and you throw it around, and,
whatever. Like, when you're talking to your wife and you call her a cunt and whore? Oh, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
No, but that's almost what it's like. It's like all bets are off.
Yeah. So
I would hate to fight with Howard in real life.
The bowling and the block party have nothing to do with what I do here. So, I mean, they're associated, but in terms of doing my job here, no, I didn't fuck up because I do those other things.
This guy, Matt, is fascinating. His name is Matt Paxton. And, Matt, are you on TV?
I'm here.
Yeah. Matt's on TV, right? Aren't you part of the Hoarders TV show?
Yeah, I'm the guy that cleans up all the dead cats and poop on Hoarders.
Oh.
Hoarders is this fascinating show, which I have to admit I don't watch. I sort of, everyone always tells me about it, but I am fascinated by Hoarders. Like Ronnie, the limo driver, tells me about when his mom was a bit of a hoarder, and she would hoard these paper bags. Paper bags, like from shopping. Like she'd come home and save every paper bag. And when Ronnie cleaned out her house after she died, it was like he spent almost a month
with paper bags.
Paper bags, plastic bags. And Gary said his mom was a hoarder. She would just save New York Times, newspapers, yeah. and finally he was hauling them out one day, and there was thousands of them. And she started to cry, and he goes, "What's wrong?" And she goes, "I was going to read those." It's such a thing, this hoarding. Yes. And she would save your mom would save every box, right?
Ronnie and I were just talking about this in there. So say you go to Macy's and you buy a shirt, right? You give it as a gift, that box. My mother, and Ronnie said the same thing with his mother, there were boxes inside of boxes inside of boxes, and both our mothers had the same thing. Oh, when Christmas comes around, I'm going to use them, but they never did.
Right.
Then the next year, there were more boxes, and after 10 years, there were so many boxes.
Right.
You open my mother's closet, and one half, instead of clothing, were these boxes stacked up to the ceiling.
Right. Wow. Well, I remember when Ronnie's mom died, he would, I said, Ronnie, how's it going? Because he said, I have to go and, clean up my mom's house. Well, it was months you were cleaning that house. And finally he said to me, she saved everything.
It was 40-gallon bags of garbage.
40 of them?
40.
Right. And a small apartment.
Yeah, a two-bedroom apartment, garden apartment.
Right.
Okay? And those the junk trucks that come, you hire them to come? 3 trucks.
Wow. From a 2-bedroom apartment.
Besides, but it was mostly shopping, paper bags.
It was paper bags, canned goods that were
expired.
They were exploding in the back. Like she would buy stuff and just keep putting it in the closet, and the stuff would just pile up.
Right.
And when you get to the back, I was cleaning everything out, the cans that were in the back were exploding. That's how old they were.
I just got one more. My friend had to take care of his dad's house. Again, I don't know what it is about storing stuff. Do they like the storage containers?
It's a depression mentality.
400 Maxwell House coffee cans. Right, the Maxwell House coffee cans?
The empty ones.
400, and they were filled with. Some were filled with rubber bands.
Right.
Some were filled with nuts and bolts. Some were filled with nothing.
Right.
But 400 of them, and they were sort of stacked in sort of a neat way. But he couldn't possibly find it because they were all the same can.
How old a guy was this?
He was, Depression era guy for sure.
Because I think they see a coffee can as wow, this could be valuable. I can put things in it.
Right, cigar boxes they used to keep because that was a good place to put things.
My mother would take a paper towel, right, and she would wipe my counter at the house, and then she would lay it out on the side to dry. And I said, Ma, I promise you, the depression's over. We can afford paper towels.
Right.
I found stuff. Okay, under the sink in the kitchen, there was a big storage area.
Right.
The things from the Chinese restaurant, the containers from soup.
Right. The plastic container.
The styrofoam things that, takeout food comes in.
Yeah.
She would wash it out.
Oh.
And save them.
The whole bottom, hundreds of them, hundreds. Okay. Then I'd have to go through every piece of paperwork in the house. And she had a closet filled with paperwork from when my father had a business in 1959. All the paperwork was still there from the business. You would have to go through everything. I'd find money.
Wow.
Dollar bills, envelopes with $100 in it. I'd go through her drawers. I'd find these little change purses filled with change. What
was crazy about his story? His mom got sick, so he cleaned out the entire apartment. From the time she got sick to the time she died, the whole apartment was filled up again.
All over again.
All over again.
Because I cleaned it out once when she had her heart surgery. She had heart surgery when she was 75.
So
77, something like that.
So you went in and cleaned it out.
I went when she was in the house. She was living at my house to recuperate.
How long did it take? Was she mad at you when you cleaned up the first time?
She got pissed off at me when she went home. And a lot of the paperwork stuff was missing. I just took everything and hauled it out.
And didn't she enjoy having free space and neat? No, nothing. She was angry.
And then
it's hell for them.
My old bedroom that where I lived when I lived there was filled with the boxes like he was talking about.
Yeah.
Where what are you going to use all these boxes for? She'd give us gifts at Christmas time. And she'd take the boxes home.
That's right. My mother said you got to give me the box back.
Right.
That's a true story.
She put them back in the room.
Right.
And they were all there. And then she would go shopping.
Right.
And she'd buy shirts for me from,
Macy's.
Macy's. She'd buy stuff for the kids. She'd buy everything, and never opened it. In case she needed it for something.
She'd have a gift.
She had a gift.
That's true. My mother had a part of the house. This is weird because it would always freak my friends out. I'd come over with, say you were my friend.
Right.
I'd come over. My mom started to talk to you, and she liked you. She'd go, excuse me for a minute. She'd go lock her door. I could hear her lock the door, and I'd hear her rummaging through stuff.
Right.
And she'd come out with a gift, an unopened gift.
Why did she lock the door?
Because that's the funniest thing, too, because we lived in a house the size of my thumb.
Right.
I knew where everything was. My mother used to hide money in the radiator, like you could pull the thing down, and I would hear her open and close it. And I said, Mom, don't lock the door. I know where you're hiding everything. But she would bring you out a gift. Could be a shirt that was still, but the shirt could have been 20 years old, but still in the wrapper.
So Matt, let me get to you. This is Matt Paxton. He's on Hoarders, and as bad as these guys' mothers are,
they got worse people on this show.
But Matt, Matt is one of these guys who figured out, all right, no one wants to clean up a hoarder's home because it's disgusting. So Matt started his business. You originally worked on your own, right? You weren't on TV. You started
I've been doing that. I've been cleaning up old ladies. All these stories you just told, that's what I do. I work with families to go in and clean it out. And the guy that was talking about finding the money, man, every single book, every single cookie holder. I mean, we found $13,000 in change in a lady's house. Wow.
How are you? So how did you start this business? You started a business where you said, look, I see that nobody wants to clean up hoarders' homes because it's really gross.
Well, I wish it was that cool. I was broke. I'd been a bit of a bender, about a 3-year bender, and was starting over and was living on a buddy's couch. And I was just trying to eat and pay rent.
Right.
And I realized no one would clean this stuff up. So I said, well, if no one will do it, I'll see if someone will pay me to do it.
So you get paid a fortune to go in and literally just, put on rubber gloves and clean through hoarders' homes.
Yeah, but now it's, dead cats, recycled adult diapers. I mean, it's not. We're not sorting through papers to find change anymore.
And it's probably, how many people work for you in this company?
Sometimes we're 6 guys. We've been as many as 50, depending on the job.
And a lot of times you hire like ex-cons and stuff because most people will not get involved in this kind of dirty work.
Yeah, but you got to have someone that's been knocked down that gets the mental state. And so for me, I prefer ex-cons and recovering addicts.
So if I send you to a home of a hoarder, what would you charge me? I mean, an average size, middle-income home. What does it cost to go in there and clean?
Starts about at $15,000 now.
Right.
15,000.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, here's why. Listen to this statistic. Matt once had to dispose of 45,000 pounds of human feces from a home. 45. What? Listen to me. 45,000 pounds.
Where do they keep that?
Yeah, how does that happen, Matt?
Usually that starts in the bathroom. The toilet gets full, then the bathtub gets full, then the hallway gets full, then the living room gets full, and they just start and they get embarrassed, and it becomes kind of I better cover this up. But the intent, which you guys said earlier, they absolutely believe they're going to clean it up tomorrow.
Right.
They truly believe that.
So the guys,
you're telling me the plumbing is off?
Plumbing's been gone for years by the time I get there.
Wow.
And I guess they never feel that they want to call in a plumber because at first they start to they're like embarrassed, and then they shit. Once you start shitting in the tub, you're like, well, I don't want to bring anybody in.
Yeah, I always say, think about the first time you decided to crap in your living room. That's one thing. But by like the 500th time, you're pretty committed to this lifestyle.
Can you remember has this happened to you more than once where there's thousands of pounds of feces in the house?
Every week now, man.
Every week?
5 years of my life, every week. I'm in full biohazard now.
And so you go in a hazmat suit and the whole thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, literally, you would not believe in every single building in New York City, in every single neighborhood around the country, there's one of these houses, and it's a toxic dump. I mean, it's unbelievable the stuff we're finding in there.
And when you meet these people, like specifically the people who shit in their, have 45,000 pounds of feces in their home, do they seem like normal people?
No, they're like Gary's mom. They're lovely women. They're nice people.
Right.
That have had a rough go at some point in their life. It might be 10, 15 years ago. Something triggered it. And I've got to not only clean up the poop, but I've got to also give this lady a hug and act like it's no big deal.
Right, because you don't want to embarrass her.
No, my God, if I embarrass her, I'm out. She'll kick me out, and I'm the last person that's going to help her.
When they call you, do they confess, or they just say, look, I saw you on TV. I need a company to come in and clean my home? Or do they come clean on the phone and say, listen, I've been shitting in my house for the last 10 years?
No. Normally, either a family member will call me, or they'll get called in from the show, or an APS worker, Adult Protective Services, will say, we're kicking them out tomorrow.
Right.
So they're not calling you. It's always someone else.
Maybe 1 out of 100 they'll call. Usually it's someone that loves them.
And is there...
They've given up. They don't know what to do.
And is it like what Ronnie and Gary are describing, that when you come in to clean, they're livid because even though you're removing shit from their home, they're not grateful in a way. They're like, please, just leave the shit in there.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes a wall of safety. They're removed from the rest of the world, and it's really a wall of judgment. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to be made fun of. So, they, believe it or not, that stuff protects them.
What is the smell like? Or maybe you never get to smell it because you're in a.
Yeah, I'm pretty used to it. It's a very citrusy urine smell.
Oh, it's not. It doesn't even smell like shit anymore.
No, urine will knock out. You don't even smell shit.
Oh, really? Where are they urinating?
With the shit?
2-liter bottles. Usually.
In 2-liter bottles.
Oh, and then they cap it, the bottle?
They cap it, yeah. They call them plumber bombs. So
oh, my God. I mean, it's...
We enjoy it, though. For us, we're all recovering addicts. So, like, we need something nasty to get us off.
Yeah, this keeps you straight, huh?
It keeps us totally clean and sober because we get grossed out, and we really enjoy that, and we get that every week.
I would think it would be the opposite. Like, you'd come home and go, I've just seen the worst of humanity. I need to get high. It doesn't matter. It's all meaningless.
Tie me off.
I mean, when you've hit rock bottom yourself, you kind of have to laugh to get out of it. And so now for us, if we find, if we don't see 200 cats, we don't think it's funny.
Are you a millionaire from this business? I mean, getting $20,000 a house seems to me like you might be a very wealthy man.
No, I mean, I'm doing all right. I have a house now. I have children that I can afford. I'm comfortable. It's a pretty cool thing. But I get paid to help people, which is a pretty awesome thing.
Matt once found 200 dead cats in a home, and they were wet. So when he tried to pick them up, they just came apart.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Do you ever throw up when you see that kind of thing?
I don't, man. The only thing that gets me is I had a kitten crawl out of a pile of human waste one time. And that was a bit much for me. And then the smells, the textures really, like the food they were talking about. When those cans explode, he's exactly right. The cans from 20, 30 years ago will pop open, and you'll see textures and smells that you've never seen
What
before.
do you mean a kitten crawled out of human feces? In other words, the cat was trapped in the feces?
He was living underneath the feces and she crawled through it.
Oh, my God. So how did the cat survive? Did they feed the cat or did they eat the shit?
Dude, people don't realize cats are survivalists, man. They are so tough. Like, they'll live through anything. People will quit before a cat quits.
Wow. Oh, it's so sad. Now, when you say, going back to what you said before, you found $13,000 in cash inside a giant rat's nest in a house.
Yeah, 8-foot rat's nest in Oakland.
And how's the money get in there?
Well, we found out that week that rats don't eat money. We didn't. It's the only thing they don't shred apart. We didn't know that.
Why is that?
I guess it's the glaze on the money. I don't know. They're not interested in it. But we didn't know if there were cats. We didn't know if there were rats or not in this nest. So it was about a 6-foot high, 8-foot wide rat's nest, and we can see all the holes where the rats are going in and out. But we can also see money all over the place.
Now, when you see that's a dangerous thing because those rats can carry disease.
Yeah, in Oakland too. They're big. That's like New York rats.
Yeah, they're the size of dogs. Some of them.
Yeah, they're a good sized cat. Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you're cleaning out, do they come and bite you and try to attack you?
Well, that one they didn't in that one. But we were going inch by inch. We didn't know if they would. So the fear of them coming out. Turns out they had given up and left years ago too.
So when you find cash in a house, I mean, you're obligated to give it to the owner, right?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, because the joy they get in that gets us so much more momentum. It lets us clean faster.
You say here you once found $45,000 in U.S. savings bond in a house.
Yep.
And the woman thought they were expired. People don't even know what they have.
She didn't know what she had. We had to explain to her the difference between maturity and expiration.
Now you're a financial advisor.
So she thought they had gone bad.
Right,
They were bad. It was free money, $45,000. We helped, and this lady thought she had nothing.
So Matt, is your show's on A&E, but what do you have to do with Oprah Winfrey? She started having you on at one point?
No, that's actually how I got on. This guy, Peter Walsh, that's on there, he was not interested in doing the show, Hoarders. And so I had been bugging him for years trying to just be his guy that cleaned up after he left. I never thought I'd get on TV. I was just trying to make a living.
Right.
And he couldn't do it because he was on Oprah. And so that's how I ended up getting on. He said, no, go call this crazy guy in Virginia. He'll clean up anything. And they were literally just looking for messy houses to clean. And I just happened to get picked up. I got that one chance. They gave me about 10 minutes.
So because you're on TV, do you get more money in a sense because you're a celebrity house cleaner?
Yeah, crazy enough, I am. It's weird. I mean, I'm like the most popular trash guy in America.
And why did they start putting you on TV? Because they found that the cleanup was just as interesting as meeting the people?
I think they realized it was more than trash, and that's really what I bring to the table. I mean, to me, this is about people. We all are different. We all are fear of rejection. We're all, we all have fear of judgment. We're all trying to find self-worth, and that's really what hoarding is about. And I'm able to break it down to I'm not an educated man. I'm a I'm a recovering addict that just got lucky.
How old a guy are you?
I'm young. I'm 36. I'm still very young.
When you have
messing up early.
But when you have to clear out 45,000 pounds of shit, and by the way, I'm trying to figure out how much is the average bowel movement? A pound?
Yeah.
It just depends on the person.
I mean, how many years would it take you to build up 45,000 pounds of
At
shit?
At least 10 years. Yeah, that's the number you want. I mean, it's 10 years of 3 or 4 times a day.
Where do you bring it, though? Like, where can you dump that?
That you can't even take to the dump, and that's what's really challenged us. We now, everything has to be destroyed as like medical waste because it's too messy for the city dump.
So what do you do with medical waste? Where does that go?
That has to actually go to, it's like a crematorium that actually has to be incinerated.
Oh, my goodness.
Cow.
I mean, a lot of the houses, we had a house the other day, there's no way to save it. It has to be destroyed. And so it was more of a recovery situation.
So that place was so bad, you couldn't clean it.
Could not salvage it. You had to tear it down.
Just burn it down.
But it was so messy, we couldn't tear it down. We actually had to burn it.
Is that more than one person shitting in the house, or was just the one person?
No, it's one person.
Wow.
10 years. I mean, you got 3 or 4 times a day, 10 years, every day, day by day.
Are hot girls ever hoarders, or is it always just like very vile-looking people?
I think they started. A lot of them start as hot girls. I mean, it's a fine wine. You can't be a good hoarder overnight. It takes 10, 15, 20 years.
Tell the story, Matt. He cleared a house of a guy into kiddie porn, but the guy called you, right?
Yeah, and this was not on A&E. I want to make sure they always ask me to make sure clear this. This one was on our personal job.
Okay.
But we went out, and this guy, the family called us. He was having he had heart disease, and he was going to die. And the family wanted to send him home so he could have hospice. So we were going and thinking, oh, this poor sweet guy. Yeah. Well, we get there and we start realizing, well, this is some interesting toys. This is some interesting pornography. And the deeper we got, we started finding some Polaroids, some really aggressive stuff, and it was all child pornography.
Wow.
And so we're like, what do we do here? So we called a buddy of mine as a cop, and he's like, well, actually, you have to report this. So we called the guy. Guy ends up going to jail for 3 years. He gets out of jail, fills the house up again, because we actually did clean it, and he calls us again and says, hey, can you come clean my house again? And we had just sent the guy to jail for 3 years.
And yet he wasn't...
Who else you gonna call?
He wasn't angry. One thing about those kiddie porn guys, they're very forgiving.
Yeah.
So you clean his house, you find kiddie porn, you report him to the police, he goes to jail, he comes back home, he says, hey, you guys were pretty good at cleaning, come on back. But you didn't find any more kiddie porn there.
Well, I told him to fuck off. I mean, we're not going to...
Oh, you didn't go. You didn't want that job.
I mean, I hire all ex-cons. My morality gauge is pretty wide open. I've guys that murder people on my team, but I will not work with a child pornographer, period. I mean, that's the one thing I won't touch.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Well, is the worst thing you ever found a dead body in a house?
I did find a dead body. The smell is unique. You'll never get that out of your head. For me...
What's that smell like? Does it smell like shit?
No. If you haven't smelt it, I mean, you can't even get it out of you. You end up shaving your head and your eyebrows because you just can't get the smell off your body.
You're saying if a body decomposes and you get the smell on you, you shave your head and your eyebrows.
I did. Yeah, I shaved my head because I couldn't get it was like, that old trick where you wipe poo under someone's nose at camp and the guy, all he smells is poo. Well, it's kind of like, I mean, that's all you smell once you find a dead body. That's the worst. That was probably the worst for me.
How long had the body been in there?
Well, that was when we were doing foreclosures in downtown D.C.
Oh.
Just knocking down doors of foreclosures for the banks. And
so that's why the person wasn't paying.
He wasn't actually delinquent.
He had a good excuse.
Yeah, he had a good excuse.
How long had he been in there? Do you have any idea?
It had to at least have been 120 days.
Wow.
We wouldn't have been in there. We wouldn't have gotten the work order. That was awful because he had killed himself and he was just laying on a chair. So the mental, and what that gets to is the mental stuff that we deal with. We're not just picking up trash. We're finding really horrible.
Do you find it hard to sleep at night, or do any of your guys get like post-traumatic stress syndrome?
The abusive ones, the ones like you'll have hoarders that are so protective of their stuff that they'll scream at you and hit you, and the abusive hoarders, they're the ones that give you the post-traumatic.
You had a hoarder try to hit you to keep you from taking all their shit out of their house.
Yeah, I had a 70-year-old lady swing at me, which was pretty funny.
Anybody make contact?
I did an 80-year-old guy. Actually, we found out he had been beating his wife, and we called him on it, and he got really angry with us and tried to bully us, and he connected pretty square on my jaw.
He punched you in the face.
Yeah.
You're a pretty tough guy. What were you in prison for?
I didn't go to prison. I had a gambling addiction, man. I actually worked for Caesar's Palace. I'm not a tough guy. I just have seen it all now. And so, once you've seen it all, every day, my job is to go into someone else's rock bottom.
Right.
And so but I also, on the backside, is I see people come out of that, and I see the miracles happen, and I see people do good things. So for me, I don't care,
Do you find that people stay clean after you've cleaned out all this stuff?
Hell no.
Great question. No, that's a good question.
I say no way.
Well, and this is what's so good about Hoarders on A&E. They pay for the aftercare, and the aftercare is the key. If they go to therapy, there's about a 60% chance they'll stay clean.
Wow.
If they don't go to therapy, it's 100% guaranteed they'll fail.
Wow.
They'll fill back up by Christmas. If they don't do this, there's a reason they do it, and there's a psychological reason they do it, and you got to get into the head and you got to deal with that psychological issue, or it'll never get fixed.
Eric, you're on the air with Matt Paxton. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, Howard.
Hey, now.
Hey, Papa Billy. My cousin, she's a hoarder, and she's pretty hot too. They actually did the local news did a story on her, and yeah, she's hot. I heard you mention.
Oh yeah, well I guess there are some hot chicks who hoard. I don't know. Does she collect her feces at all?
No, there's no duty or nothing. Just messy, bags and food and stuff like that.
Oh, it's so disgusting. Will, go ahead. You're on the air in St. Louis.
Hey, hi. My name's Will, and I think I worked with you, Mr. Paxton, out of St. Louis. Did a job here for the TV show Hoarders.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I was the exterminator on that one.
Yes, that was roaches everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, brown recluse.
What is it too? I imagine there's tons of bugs when you finally get to the bottom of the like if somebody collects bags and stuff. That's where bugs collect, right?
Well, the house this guy's talking about, we were putting cotton balls in our ears and taping up our assholes because there were so many roaches.
Really? You mean you were just afraid that they would actually crawl into your ear?
Yes, that was a really scary. And brown recluse spiders. I mean, you couldn't even see the top 2 feet of the house because of the spider webs.
When you say roaches, you guys, you're talking about like not just a couple of roaches. You're saying like the whole wall could be covered in roaches.
They were raining off of the ceiling.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh.
When they came in to clean this, Howard, they had to come in with a hose and spray down the walls with water because there was so much like webs and dust and stuff.
But someone was actually living in the house?
Yeah, it was what was so
3
bad.
people, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a 13-year-old boy that they had in there with them.
Oh, wow. And the roaches are raining down on their head.
Yeah.
I got to actually know these people. I've been doing their service because
they're good people, aren't they?
Yeah, they were. I never met the husband, but the wife, me and her actually really got to kind of know each other because I've been back to that house.
And did you ever say to her, how could you live with so many roaches?
Yeah, well, she blamed it on her husband. But,
well, when you get to that point in life, it's easy it's just easier to blame it on other people. And that was a triangle family that everyone was blaming on each other. But that 13-year-old kid is such a good kid. We didn't care if we were getting rained on by roaches. Right. You just wanted to help that kid, man.
Yeah,
did Child Protective Services take the kid out of the home and like?
Yeah, that's how we got called in. Yeah, and he wasn't allowed back in until we cleaned it out.
Oh, they sent him back.
Well, no, the families. I don't think they're back in, are they?
No, not yet. They still. Well, see, what ended up happening is because everything went so wrong and the cleanup and everything. The house, they came in and sanitized the inside of the house, but it's never been cleaned yet.
Wow.
So you still walk in there. The kitchen floor is like walking on peanut butter. I mean, everything. It's unreal. It's just ungodly.
Yeah, and that was a house where really, if the family had the financial options, they really should tear it down and start over.
Right.
But
it's that bad.
Yeah, and the A&E can only do but so much. I mean, we're not. No one's millionaire, so you can't just throw. There's a budget, and we can only do but so much.
No, listen, you gave them a start. You think they'd take over?
Yeah, you're there to clean.
Well, for us, I mean, we have to put a lot of money into the therapy afterwards, because without that, the house is going to fill up regardless.
Yeah, right. They'll go right back to there. It's weird too, because like he wondered, just like, why did they let themselves get in this situation? But it's mental illness, right? There's no rational.
Right, absolutely. There's a problem.
Yeah.
Nobody would rationally do this. They can't. That you just can't help it. And they don't want to do this. They're good people. It started off with one bad decision.
Right.
But you'd think there may be one person like that.
Yeah, right. No,
This is a whole
it's an epidemic,
series.
evidently. Yeah.
There's
Hey,
millions, and the show blew the doors off it. Now there's a ton of shows about it, which is great because I always say it's like it's the next alcoholism. I mean, in the 50s, people were like, it was so embarrassing to say your uncle was an alcoholic. Now you say my uncle's in AA, and you're like, good for him. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it takes I guess it takes some of the secrecy out of it. Yeah. But you know what I always say, it starts with just one shit in the tub, and then you're hooked.
The first time you do that, just realize.
I heard that, I tell you.
Yeah. Hey, Will in St. Louis, thanks for the call. Are you coming over to America's Got Talent?
Actually, I got tickets for Saturday at 11 o'clock.
All right, I'll say hi to you.
Thanks, Howard.
All right, later, man.
Hey, that guy Will, I remember him now. He actually gave his services for free to help that family.
Wow, hey, Will, you're a good dude.
We try.
I bet. All right. Good man, Will. See, my fans are good people.
I'm learning there's good people everywhere. You just got to give them opportunities to be good.
Right. I fortunately don't give anybody opportunities.
Well, you know what? This will change my life. You're giving a lot of people awareness.
Take one last call, Matt. I've held on to you long enough, but let me. You got to get back to cleaning. But
Yeah,
Kirk,
I mean, I wonder how bad you have to be to make it on the TV show.
yeah, I know. Any big job today, Matt? You going out anywhere?
No, I'm home all week. We start filming again next week. For us, Robin, the saddest thing is most of the time I'll go into a house now and I have to tell them that their house isn't messy enough for me to clean it.
When you hire ex-cons to work for you, how do you know which ones you can trust?
We go through a program that they've been sober for 2 years. And
I see.
You can't trust all of them, but there's a lot of those dudes are. Those guys. I want the ones that if they sneeze wrong, they're going back to prison tomorrow.
Kirk, what's
they're not gonna mess
right?
up.
They have something to lose. Hey, Kirk, go ahead. You have the last word with Matt.
Hey, Howard, does this Matt guy ever worry or have like a health scare with hepatitis or SARS from cleaning up these dirty fucking people?
He's wearing a hazmat suit.
I do. I get. Yeah, but you ever got poked or anything where you're like, oh shit?
We do walk out if we see needles. We walk out. That's the only thing we'll say no to, and our shots are up to date like you wouldn't believe.
If you walk into a house and you see some like drug addicts have been living there and there's exposed needles, you will walk out and refuse the job.
Yeah, you're on your own. I'm not going to die for these. I'll almost die for them, but I'm not going to die for them.
You'll clean their shit, but you ain't cleaning their needles.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Matt, thank you, and Kirk, thank you. Matt Paxton on the season finale of Hoarders. Oh, Sour Shoes has a question. How can you refuse him? Matt, one last question. Yes, Sour Shoes.
Hi, Matt. Matt, when you have to clean up the poo-poo in the house when it's in the living room, is it in 5-gallon buckets, or how is the poo? Is it on the floor, or is it...
Sour Shoes, I thought you were going to ask. He's asking in his baby voice.
I know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's in buckets, sometimes it's just laying in open diapers, and sometimes it's on the wall.
There you go. All right. I shouldn't have gone to that. All right, let's just say also check out Matt's podcast, available on iTunes at 5decisionsaway.com. Hey, Matt, fascinating.
Hey, guys, thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate you letting everybody know about this.
I might have to call you in for helping out with cleaning out JD's office. I'm seeing a lot of magazines and things.
Absolutely, bring it. I'll do it. I'll clean up anything.
All right, Matt.
Guys, thanks so much.
Later.
Thank God for
interesting
him.
work, actually. Yeah, thank God for him.
He found a niche and he filled it.
It's crazy stuff, right?
They say that's the best way to do, to get into a business.
That's
is
what they
to
say.
Find something nobody else is doing.
I found a business. No one's willing to clean up 45,000 pounds of some human feces. I think I'm onto something.
I think I'm onto something.
Hey, good for him, though. Covering addict.
He's giving other people second chances. It's a good deal.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That was great. That was great. The best line was he goes, we were putting cotton balls in our ears and taping up our assholes. Are you a hoarder?
Not like that, but I can understand, not for feces, but I can understand how it's hard to make decisions about like paper.
Well, my parents are so the opposite.
Oh my God.
They don't